Hi, and welcome to my video. A very quick one just on squaring negative numbers. Such an important skill that still seems to just be a thing that people make mistakes on in year 10, 11 and 12. Just want to make sure that you get it right. So when you're asked to do some substitution or just some basic calculations in a lot of the year 10, 11, 12 subjects, you're going to end up with something that goes from being x squared to being now a negative number squared. And this is the common interpretation of that negative number squared. So if we were doing some really basic substitution, we said, oh, let's let x equal negative 3, people might write this down. But what you have to remember is something you learnt in year 7 and 8. And that probably looks a little bit like this, BODMAS. Or maybe BOMDAS, or maybe PEDMAS, or whatever. There's lots of different variations on it. But the point here is that this tells us the order of operations that we do things in. And if you're putting something into a calculator, it is going to follow that rule very, very specifically. This says brackets first, and then the O is of powers, which is sometimes an E for exponentials. So of powers, or indices, sometimes it's an I for indices, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So that's going to do the power first. If you put that into your calculator, it's going to do this, negative of 3 squared. That's going to give you negative 9. But that's not actually what we mean, because this statement here is x squared. Whatever x is, we square it. So the real substitution here should look like this. X squared becomes negative 3 squared. This is saying get the number x and square it. And if we're saying the number x is negative 3, then we have to get negative 3 and square negative 3. So we want to do that negative falls under the subtraction, or maybe multiplication, we say multiply by negative 1. But it's a subtraction, and then we want to square it, which is why we need to put brackets here, because that tells the machine to do the thing on the inside of the brackets first. It's going to negate the 3 and then square it. And we all know that if you do a negative times by a negative, that comes out as a positive, and it gives us 9. So that would be incorrect, and that would be correct. But there is a time and a place where squaring a negative might look a little bit different. Technically it's not really squaring a negative, but if your function instead was negative x squared and you substituted in 3, that would look like this, negative 3 squared. So a little bit later in this series I'm going to have a video on substitution and talk about why these brackets are really important. But for now, just know that if you are squaring a negative number, you should get a positive answer. And if you're doing it in your calculator, you're going to have to tell your calculator what to do. Otherwise, it will do it wrong. Thanks very much. All the best.